All right. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thanks a lot for coming to our Industry Solutions Showcase. I'm Lizzie Epstein, the Director of Application Platform Marketing at Appian. And here I have Khan from Incessant Technologies. So without further ado, take it away, Khan, to talk about the Business Operations Suite.
Hey, thanks, Lizzie. I hope I'm audible. Of course I am. I'm loud enough. All right. I'm Yusufzai S. Khan, Global Head of Appian Practice, working with Incessant Technologies. Today I'm here to walk you through Incessant's Business Operations Suite. We call it as iBOS platform that we have implemented to manage all our internal operations. So before we jump onto the demo aspect, let me give you some background and the context around this platform. So we are specialized end-to-end BPM service providers. So Incessant Technologies, we are well known in BPM industry for our top-notch implementation services that we provide for our global customers. And we have been recently listed as top 10 most promising IT services company by Silicon India US edition. And we have this unique partnership with Appian. We have this unique partnership with Appian, which is 360 degrees, meaning we are customers to them. So we have procure Appian production license on which we run our iBOS platform on, and that way we are customers to them. And we are, of course, strategic partners. So we are, in fact, platinum sponsors for this event. And finally, we are service providers. We provide best-of-breed Appian implementation services for our customers. Right? So that is about us, and the kind of, over the years, we have been delivering multiple Appian-based solutions for our global customers, and the kind of solutions we build usually using Appian platform, they are agile in nature, they are scalable, they are robust, and they evolve. They do evolve as the organizations grow, right? So, as you know, every growth comes with complexity, and there are some business problems, and expansion is one of them. It's a good problem to have. So we ourselves, as a customers to Appian, we expanded to, geographically starting from USA, Canada, Ireland, UK, India, and Australia. So as we continue to grow, we realized an inevitable need to have a business operations suite of application to automate and optimize all of our internal operations. And we realized the lack of having such kind of a platform sometimes resulting in direct revenue losses, right? All we had was multiple silo-based applications, right? As Matt was mentioning the other day. So it was becoming more and more difficult as we are growing, So these silo-based applications, they are catering to a specific needs of an specific need. Like for HR, we had one application. For timers, we had other one. And they all have their own data model. They don't interact with each other. So we'll be covering more on that. So from there, we had a vision to have a single unified platform on which we wanted to maintain all these modules on. So that is the vision behind this. And we came up with iBOS. This is the landscape. So as I said, it works on a single unified platform built on Appian BPM. And we have all the operational modules like onboarding, travel, time tracking, support help desk, hiring, all of this built leveraging the true capabilities of Appian BPM platform. And guess what? Since its rollout, it sustained 28% increase in its user base in just 5 months. And we are still continuing to use it, right? And that is when the other partners and our clients, when they saw our platform and how are we managing all our internal operations, even they're interested. They said, this is the problem even we have. And that's when it, started radiating into, other customers, and we are actually showing them to a couple of our partners as well, right? So, all right. So why do we need to go with iBOS? Why do we need to build such a platform on top of Appian? Why can't we live with silo applications? As Matt was explaining, and this diagram says it all. It's complex. It's complex to even understand, and it's way too complex to maintain it. As you see, this is not a hypothetical scenario. This is how we were running our organization. We had one application to cater to all HR needs. It had its own database, and then we had another application which deals with time off. And as an employee, I have to log in into multiple applications to get my job done, right? And they don't interact with each other. And the never-ending problem that we had with this kind of silo-based applications was the data redundancy. I had to feed in all the employee and organization data into all of these systems, and the data redundancy and inconsistency issues were plaguing us, right? And that is when, we don't know how to proceed with this kind of model when we continue to expand. And we have a vendor who asked for 2 weeks of lead time just to add additional leave type into the system, right? Because it is, he has to make changes in so many places, right? And then once I remember when I approached him asking, hey, you know what? You have a beautiful time off application. I do get leave requests from all my team members. But before taking a decision as to whether to approve it or not, I want to know who else from my same team taking leave on the same day. Because I don't want too many people taking leave on the same day. He thinks I'm insane. Right? Because his application deals with only time off. Right? He doesn't know which my team is, who my team members are. Because my team changes, my team members goes in and out of the team. Right? And that is the point we made up our minds to take a paradigm shift. And that's what it is. iBOS built on a single unified platform on top of Appian BPM. And the first thing that you observe are the service channels, of course. All our employees are able to access this application from office at the comfort of their home or on the go, right? And it uses a common enterprise data source. So there is always one single point, one source of truth, which all my applications access, right? So, and this block that you see here are the true capabilities of Appian BPM platform, which comes out of the box. We leveraged all of those capabilities. On top of it, we have built all these modules. We have resource management, onboarding, claims, forecast, invoices, support help desk, all of these modules. And guess what? They do interact with each other, right? They do interact with each other seamlessly because they are sharing a common data source. And leveraging Appian's integration capabilities, we are connected with social, right? So we do post tweets onto Twitter. There is a Facebook integration, and there are web service integrations to get the exchange rate, hitting a currency converter, and to get the weather reports. And there are custom applications. We have this beautiful application to manage all our internal operations, but I have my own website, right? Sometimes I want this platform to interact with my website too, right? Yeah, we are able to achieve it. And we realize that once we build with minor configuration changes, we can make it applicable for multiple domains, for government sector, for pharma, healthcare, insurance, if they want to manage all their internal operations using such a beautiful platform, right? And for today's demo, I'll be covering those modules which are highlighted there through a user story and in the interest of time. Now, what are the capabilities of Appian we leveraged? We moved away from silo-based applications and we wanted to use Appian to build such a platform, right? All right, so if we have made a decision to use Appian, then how are we going to leverage each of rich feature list of Appian, right? So there is a one-to-one mapping here. If you see the process management, the modules we build, the processes we build are easily readable. Let's say, for example, onboarding process. The business users can actually read how the onboarding process has been modeled in the application. And with its continuous feedback mechanism, they can understand where the bottlenecks are and they can suggest changes to it. The code is not written in a cryptic way which only my IT team can understand, right? So it is written the way one would visualize the process to be, right? And the business rules. So here we are talking about internal operations of an organization. So every organization would love to have its processes driven by its policies. And the policies, they are subject to change. And how can we dynamically enforce changes to the policies, which as a business user, I would like to be made applicable immediately. So that's when we leverage the rich business rules capabilities of Appian. We'll show you how that is done. And of course, there is a social collaboration, mobility, and BAM reports, one of my favorite capabilities of Appian, so which I'll be covering. And Appian does come with a flexible deployment options. And on top of it, we made even our licensing so flexible to make it applicable for most of the domains. So here are some users which I'll be using for today's demonstration. James Watson is our employee whom we'll be onboarding. Ted Wilson is our HR manager. And in the onboarding process, both Carol and David, they will participate to complete the onboarding. And finally, we have Robin Smith, who is a resource manager responsible for all employee allocations. So now let's get started with the demo. Now, Ted, who is a HR manager, he's logging in. What he sees is all the modules in the application and the actions that he can take based on his privileges. There's an expense management module, onboarding. These are some of the actions that he can take. And he has a global task list. So from all the different modules, even they are different, he gets all the tasks into one single portal, right? He can see all the tasks pending with him in one place. He can further drill it down by module, right? This is how the landing page looks like. And yeah, let's start onboarding. He selects James there from list of candidates, and he fills in his official details and organization's details to start the onboarding process, right? Now, once he submits it, what happens is, we know both admin team and IT team, they can work parallelly, right? And if I ask a business user, hey, how do you how do you start onboarding? He would explain me that, hey, I want HR to kickstart the process, and both admin and IT teams can work together. Once that is done, I would generate some emails and credentials. I'll send out a welcome email, and I'm done. And that is exactly we have designed it. You can read the workflow here. Right? So now HR has kickstarted the onboarding process. Now a task goes to both admin and IT teams. They both can work parallelly. Right? David is our IT guy. He logs in. He sees that iBOS is generating user ID and email ID for James automatically. These are the valid credentials that iBOS generates, which James can use to log into the application, right? So David doesn't have to create these user IDs and email by himself. And David allocates a laptop to him, and he's done. His task is done. Now, you can see there is a report which says IT task is done. Now it is pending with admin. Now, admin Carol, she logs in and she assigns some temporary IDs, swiping cards, parking tags to James. Yep, it's done. You can see the report, and there is a welcome message, which is news feed, and James receives a welcome email along with the valid user credentials, and there is a Twitter feed which says welcome James, who has joined Incessant Technologies as an architect. The onboarding is completed, right? Now, James, so this user ID is what iBOS system has generated automatically with the default password. Now James, who has onboarded now, he uses those credentials to log into iBOS as soon as the onboarding is done. oops, where am I? Yep. When he logs in, he gets access to default applications, and he fills in his profile to increase his visibility in the organization, right? He fills his skill details, his certification details, and he uploads his resume, right? When he uploads his resume, iBOS reads the document and puts the summary there. It actually reads the Word document and puts the summary there so that one can have a quick look at the profile summary of James. This we are able to achieve leveraging the rich document management capabilities of Appian, right? So now let's say James wants to apply for a leave. Now we are into leave management module, right? He goes to actions, he goes to time of management module, he says apply leave, right? So as you can see, it says insufficient balance because our organization says that unless you have sufficient balance, you can't apply for a leave. Since James has just joined, he doesn't have required credit to apply leave, right? And he goes back to HR and says, hey, it's very important that I take a leave, right? And HR decides to change the policy now, right? So imagine this situation without iBOS, right? When you go to silo-based applications, if they have to change the policy, which drives the processes, there are so many places that they have to make changes, right? It has to be developed, tested, and it has to undergo UAT, and finally move to production. So we are looking at 1 month of effort. In your wildest imagination, you would think, is there any way I can do it, let's say in a minute, instead of waiting for a month? Trust me, you can. So Ted, he can log into iBOS. There's a place where he can manage all the organization policies by country. He selects the country. He goes there, maximum advance leave. He just have to change the value there. He changes the value from 0 to 5, and it's done. The policy is updated. And this policy will drive all the process flows. Now, on the same screen, now when James is trying to apply, it says it allows him. As simple as that. Now Robbins, who is our resource manager responsible for employee allocations, he is logging in. He is after a particular employee having a particular skill set. He can search the entire employee pool by various search parameters, by skills, by certification, by designation. He finds 2 people, John and James. He selects John to allocate to a particular task. He sees that, hey, John has a leave planned for next 10 days starting from 7th May. Hey, he's not into leave management application, he's into resource management application. Where is this coming from? Right? Because these modules, though they are different, they interact with each other, right? And these are the requirements we carefully analyzed, and we thought, yeah, it is good to have these requirements, and we have implemented. So the resource manager doesn't have to juggle between multiple places before he takes a decision. When he's trying to allocate James for a particular project, he sees that that guy has a leave plan, right? So he better takes another resource. So he selects James instead of John. And the moment he selects John, it's going back and forth. Yep. Yep. So since John has planned leave, he selects James and he proceeds with it. Yep. Now he's allocating him for a particular assignment in Australia, and system checks that James' current location is US. Do you want to raise a travel request for him? Because he has to travel all the way to Australia, right? So Robin doesn't have to go to a travel module to raise a travel request for him. So it is all done in one place, right? though he is in a resource manager module, Robin actually touched 3 modules here: a leave application interacting with this module and a travel application, right? And let's say, James incurs some expenses on his travel to Australia. He wants to raise it on the go. He uses his mobile to access iBOS, right? He goes to claims and he fills in all the data, let's say a cab expense of $68, and he uses his mobile to capture the receipt. Done. So when his manager logs in, he can see that James has raised a request, expense request using his mobile. He can actually download the screenshot and he can either approve or reject it. And there are various reports that we have built in the system, which gives the managers and the leadership teams sufficient insights as to how they are performing, how their internal operations are working, the employee utilizations, the allocations, the claims by expense types. So there are rich set of reports that we have built in the application. Right? Leave details. And guess what? These reports, each and every report can be exported into an Excel file if somebody wants to do the work offline. So these are the reports. So now let me jump on to the business benefits. As I said, there's a configurable workflows. You can actually read them with the continuous feedback mechanism. You can identify where the bottlenecks are and you can suggest changes. And it's good to have SLAs, and we have built all the required configuration to determine what needs to be done in the event of breach. And there are out-of-the-box business activity monitoring reports which Appian provides. So overall, it helps you to not only automate your internal operations, but it helps you to optimize them, right? And it gives you the flexibility to make changes dynamically, make them applicable. And that's why I said initially, the applications that we build, they evolve as the organization grows. All right, thank you so much, guys. And we have some handouts. If you're more interested in the solution, you can pick it up from here. And any questions?
We'll take questions.
All right, thank you.